indigenous knowledge. Do you know what that means? Now the people of Uyo, I want to use Uyo for instance, knows exactly what was at Ibom Plaza before Architect Victor, His Excellency, demolished, choose to reconstruct that place. But myself that came from Okanafo, I can never tell the story. Right? So if you want to recreate what used to be at Ibom Plaza before the remodeling, we must seek indigenous knowledge. We must go to the ancestral people of Uyo, and especially the people that were on ground and around that vicinity. What do we used to have here? How do we recreate this? And this boils down to agriculture. We talk about GMOs, we talk about every other thing. And if we, integrate indigenous knowledge into all of our engagements, you will find out that the things we suffer to get, we may find out that the solution is actually within us. Take for instance, there's something we call I'm trying to get the name. Protected area, something like it's more like a reserve, forest reserve. We have them in the waters. And who are the right people to protect this area? And in fact, let me bring it to the forest reserve. How many of us know that in some locations, do you know that most of those things are indigenous knowledge? It may be that nothing is actually happening there, but the elders of that community, to preserve the lives and the biodiversity of that forest, will come up with something. I think it is a very wrong poison and even forest buildings. So that people, especially strangers, will not go into such places to, cause harm to nature. And you find that if you go into such forests, the kind of snails you will pick, the kind of, the things you will get from that place will be actually very rich. But you are denied access so that those things can be preserved, can be protected. The place of indigenous knowledge. There's how you want to apply fertilizer, and then someone tells you, don't use this chemical fertilizer. Come and use this chicken manure. Before, let me talk about this. How many of the video you doing now, right? Incidentally, talk coffee done year in, year out, and you still have bountiful harvest. It's only one level and all of that. It's because we have from the households, we push those things, not chemical, indigenous knowledge. So these are just few examples I would just like to, bring up, and then we are done. Now, child-centered adaptation strategies. This has to do with learning. This has to do with, I have mentioned the child in China. I'm putting it side by side with the child in Nigeria. Let me share my story. I had finished primary school without knowing how to read. And then I remember losing my first admission in Holy Family College because I did not know how to read. I was sent back. So I'm going to start in my community secondary school before going back again. By that time, I didn't still know how to read properly. But I could solve math because God helped us with a good math teacher. And through the help of mathematics, I was able to have admission now into Holy Family College. In my long vacation, my uncle took me to Calabar. And in Calabar, I mingled with a few secondary school students that were my peers. And then the other ones were primary 4, primary 5, primary 3 children. And we were all in the same, children choir. And these ones, what they do, they teach us songs on Monday. That's the song you present on Sunday. They will write the Bible verse for you to go and prepare. You read on your own and come back on Sunday to present in church. I was older than these children. I could not read. And they will write down scripture for me to go and learn. How do we, a supposed JSP student, carry his Bible verse to go and give a primary 4 child to teach me how to quote? Peer-to-peer learning now. I had to. I was challenged. seeing what those children were doing. So while they are playing, I will lock up myself and start learning how to read the Bible. So now the place of peer influence is not just only in the negative aspect. Because they say peer pressure and all of that. Yes, there's the positive aspect of peer pressure. If you find yourself among intelligent children, there's that tendency that that child will be intelligent. Alright? The place of peer-to-peer or chosen to learn, talking about peer-to-peer, what's called learning now. Now, what do I mean? A child learns faster when he sees his fellow child, how do I put it? He sees a child like him or her, do the same thing. And then we'll come back to you and tell you, Daddy, this is what I saw you saying, no, this is what he did, this is what he did. I think I can also try this. And not just that, you'll be challenged if it was something good. If it was something bad, that's how they learn too, to do something bad. If you see a child smoking, that means he was challenged. Maybe smoke like me, this one try it. And from one puff to the next puff, till it becomes an expert. So if we put children together, tell them what to do, and not tell them, okay, do this by yourself, replicate this. It will see that it will trigger something in them, and they will start learning those things, they will start creating things. If you have a home with children, and a child wants to touch something, you keep restricting that child. Trust me, that child will grow up becoming a fearful child, because he will always think he wants to spoil something. But allow that child to explore. He wants to open the remote. That means something in him is telling him something. There is something in this remote. Open and check. So that child starts learning and nothing to be destroyed, yes. But once he starts doing these things, he will learn as a child. And trust me, when he grows up, he will not do those things again. And that's why as parents, I was told before I became one. Buy the things you can easily replace. So when these guys want to do their thing, you allow them to do their thing, and then you can replace, and they are learning. So if you have children co-creating together, they will learn how to, adapt, how to mitigate, and how to create solutions. Imagine children leading on tree planting campaigns. Imagine children from the Niger Delta region, as a result of education, remember education is a catalyst, as a result of knowledge through education, leading advocacy, leading protests in the Niger Delta region, intelligently, not the hoodlums in the gates. Can you imagine the impact? The people will feel the impact. There will be some sort of uprising. Hey, if these children at this age are doing this, guys, we need to sit up. We need to do right by nature. We need to do right by them. And all that, then you will find that all of those things I have mentioned that are affecting the people, even us, negatively, there will be intentional drive by the people in authority, by the IOCs, the international oil companies, to see that whatever they do it conscious of the environment, the conservation and preservation of our environment. Can I have the next slide, please? Now, talking about eco-learning strategy I talked about. So imagine this student now. He's seeing a video, coding. He too wants to code. He doesn't want to be able to code more than he does. So that would trigger learning. That would prompt him or her to want to do better too. And with that, you will find out that the children will do better. And even in the changing climate, you will find out that if our children adopt the co-learning environment, or if our teachers tend to push the children to a co-learning sort of method of learning, they will be their best, they will be challenged, and they will take this challenging by becoming innovative, by becoming creative, and that way they can compete anywhere in the world with their books. And then we understand this particular picture. I just love the message there. Every child needs a safe environment to learn better. So with the changing climate and with the devastating impact of climate on the environment, if you do not keep the environment safe, we find out that our children will have a distorting learning ability or distorted learning space. And if that happens, you can imagine what the future holds. Next slide, please. In conclusion, if we embrace all of these things that I've said, I know that we'll have a better future for every Nigerian child. Thank you so very much for paying attention.
Round of applause, please, for Mr. Ephraim. We really thank you for spending that quality time making up research, and indeed we have benefited from the discussion to have a friendly environment where we can thrive as individuals. And again, as a teacher, we will also take this back to our various schools and then teach the students on how to impact on the environment positively. All right, I've been listening to the first paper presentation by Mr. Ephraim Jacob Inyangudo, and then we have also listened to another paper presentation too by Mr. Ephraim. We would like to give just 5 minutes to 2 rapporteurs that have been selected. By rapporteurs, we mean those who are going to digest or summarize briefly what today's discussion has been centered on concerning our environment, concerning global warming, and concerning climate change. Without wasting time, I'd like to call upon the first rapporteur, that is in the person of Mr. Isaac Udoma, to come up here in less than 5 minutes. Please, can we encourage him in less than 5 minutes to summarize the discussion so far.
Yes, good day everybody. Good day. Start on the hierarchy of the existing protocol. I have learned a lot today. My presence here is very, very impactful. I want to say that personally, I have to tell the environment I am sorry. And every one of us that is here present also have to say same to the environment. We are sorry. Please let everybody say we are sorry.
We are sorry.
To the environment. And to the environment that helped us. And what the two speakers have really said have touched me a lot. We reflect our environment. Environment is our mirror. What I've really learned. And I've seen that we don't love our environment. We take our environment as a stranger, and we can just deal with it anyhow we like. So, I would say the environment should be our friend. The environment should be what we take as our dwelling place. Since we have offended the environment will automatically give us the effects back to us. So, I really appreciate the two speakers who have delivered the exhaustive lectures to us. I remember one thing that happened to me, an experience that I had about this environment when the lecturers were in the podium here. Let us reflect and ask ourselves, the last snake that we saw, what did we do to it? Did we kill it or did we allow it to go? The very last snake that we saw around us in our environment, did we kill it or did we just allow it to go? If we search our conscience, we are going to see that we are very, very harmful to the environment itself. What we have in our environment our neighbor. So, please, are we listening? All right, thank you. Let me just take one thing, just a few minutes, I will make the point. I saw a gathering somewhere just a few months ago. When I stopped by, I realized that there was a bird and altar in the afternoon, in the daytime. I was asking what happened that this gathering is here. They said there's a witchcraft that has just torn us into a bed and we have to deal with it. We have to kill it. Now the old man has been disgraced. We have caught it today. We must kill it. We must kill him, and that will be the end. I was wondering, so wow, if we do this to this bird, and we don't know whether that is the very last species of that bird, how are we going to get it back? As the case may be, a week later, someone came with a short clip, a video of a bird. They are looking for that bird to buy. That there's one forestry or zoo that is looking for that bird to buy. That same species, they played the video to us. We checked. It was the same bird that was killed a week ago. And they said that bird cost about $6,000 US. I went back to those group that killed that bird. I showed them the video. Look at this, all of them regretting. So please, we have to be very conscious of the environment. That's what I've learned personally. And we need to love our environment. We need to treat our environment as we treat ourselves. If we cut down trees, we need to replant it. Please. So what I'm saying, or what I've heard today, and what I've learned today, is that we don't love our environment, and we should love our environment and inculcate sense into our young ones, because these are the younger generations that will live tomorrow and do sense to those that will come up next. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Isaac Udoma, for that warm discussion. Next on the list is Madam Aneka Nabasi Andiyan, who also come up at the second rapporteur, less than 5 minutes, digest what she has also gathered in the discussion. Please encourage her.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank the organizers of this program for this awesome opportunity. And I also want to thank my VP for putting this together. When he came up here, he said the aim of this seminar is to teach us teachers. I'm a teacher. Is to teach us so that we can train our students. Okay, and we have today developing technical innovative skills in students that will enable them solve critical environmental problems. It is our duty to help develop these technical and innovative skills. We've had two speakers make presentation this morning. I'm going to briefly make some, I highlighted some important points that we should remember as we go. Okay, one of the reasons, the vital reason why we are here is to help develop critical creative skills and innovative skills in our students. Our first speaker, while talking about environmental problems, put to play two important factors. He talked about global warming, which we are told is an increase in the temperature, which is as a result of the increase in greenhouse gases in our environment. And this has led to affecting our environment and then affecting us as individuals and also affecting our students, which the second speaker has thrown more light on how the changes in the environment has imposed negatively on our students. One of the things said under the global warming, we've talked about, he talked about deforestation and then waste management. Those were the two key things that stood out. Deforestation has to do with cutting down trees and then planting trees. Our second speaker noted that if a tree is cut down, it will take like 30 years for a new tree to grow into that. So what are we supposed to do? We're also supposed to help our children to manage waste by hindering. Let's come back to the classroom now. Sometimes we get into the classroom and the classroom is dirty, and we as teachers, we teach. We are supposed to teach them the effects of sitting in that dirty classroom to have lessons. It affects our health. That's one of the things I've learned. It affects the psychological effect of the teacher and the students. And we have been given what to do. What are the strategies we should deploy? First, the thing that came to my mind is hands-on learning. Hands-on learning is allowing this student to practicalize what we teach them. I have learned a lot today about my environment. Where am I going to start? I get to the class is not tidy, I get them to tidy up the classroom before I teach. And I also help them to understand the effects of having to learn in a dirty classroom. We also have hands-on learning. We allow the student to experiment. One of the things I learned from Mr. Inyangudo is that he took his students along, he groomed them from JS1. The young man that sits here was groomed from JS1 to SS3 and then graduated. And it has been a process. We are supposed to pick these children, train them through a process. And then we have group work. Group work is encouraged, both with the students and with the teachers. We cooperate as teachers. If I can't fix something, I should be able to tell somebody to help us do that. We are also told to encourage inquiry-based learning. Most of the times we get to class, we deliver a lesson, we don't give room for questions. And then when a child asks a question, you say, that is your assignment, go home and fix it. That is not the way to go. We are also to deploy visual head, let the child see what we are trying to say. I really appreciate the second speaker because I didn't have to read too much. Just the graphics spoke a lot. Okay, now back to the second speaker. Education as a catalyst, as educationists, our work is to sensitize. We are here to be trained. School session will begin next month. We are supposed to impact the students with what we have learned. We are to carry this gospel and preach it. Thank you very much for the time.
A round of applause for Madam Nekalabasi. And thank you so much for taking your time and to digest for us the discussion about our environment, about global warming, and also on climate change. At this junction, permit me to please call on the panelists All right. The very reason why we want to have panelists is for them to help and shed more light. It's for them to help and shed more light on the discussions that we had so far by Mr. Ephraim and also by Mr. Inyangudo. So we'd like all the panelists to please come up and take their seats. All the panelists to please come up and take their seats. Okay, without wasting time, maybe I should do the name calling of those who have been invited to come up here and then handle the various discussions. On my list here, we have Dr. Marigold Etwebe. She's going to be the moderator for this panel. We have Dr. Anyedi Essien. We have Dr. Paul Felix. We have Mr. Isaac Nsebon. We also have Mr. Elio Seyene Ndolobong. They all constitute the panel. Take note, we're discussing on the effects of climate change on early education in the Niger Delta region, the role of parents, teachers, government, communities, and students themselves to help mitigate the effects. So all those on the panel will help us to shed more light on the various issues as bordering our environment, the climate, and then also on global warming. Without wasting time, I'd like to hand over the microphone to the moderator of this panel. That is the person of Dr. Marigold Etwebe.
Thank you, sir. I see people going up and down. Please let's get settled. Panelists, you're all welcome. We are going to do a fast one.